السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه أما بعد. By the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are gathering every week. This is a duty upon the Muslim, and from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala it is actually an invitation to the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the remembrance of Allah azza wa jal. Had Allah not made the attendance of Jummah compulsory for men, many in the Muslim Ummah would not see the masjid for a very long time due to our weakness, our engagement with different things in life. And so this is an opportunity where every week, regardless of our commitments and our occupations and our work and our different pursuits in life, as a Muslim we are required to come, gather, to feel part of this great community that is worshipping one Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to get a reminder, to refuel our iman and our spirituality. And this is why often our Jummah Khutbah are very sort of general in a sense. We do not delve into specific topics in detail, because there is no use in that. The idea is that Jumu'ah is not a lesson, it's not a lecture. It is a khutbah, a sermon. And the idea is that the Imam needs to look at what is the greatest need and requirement of the people who are attending. And so the need of the Imam and the need of the attendees is always to do what? To refuel this Iman. Because we're not getting this anywhere else. We have enough information and enough knowledge of the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that will guarantee a success both in this life and in the hereafter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not overburden a soul, and so the commands of Allah are easy. Ad-deenu yusrun. They are difficult to apply, not because of the difficulty in the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but because our nufus, our egos, our inner souls have become accustomed to doing things that are pleasurable, and sometimes, or most of the time, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks of you does not give you immediate physical pleasure, and you do not see the immediate benefit. And so the nafs does not want to engage in something that is not pleasurable, or it does not see an immediate benefit for. And this is what makes the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala extremely burdensome for us, whereas they are very simple. Believe in Allah, pray your 5 daily prayers, stay in tahara, fast the month of Ramadan, pay your zakat once a year, 2.5%, which is what, 10 times or 9 times less than what you are already paying in taxes. And then once in a lifetime go for Hajj. Don't consume certain foods because they are harmful for you. Don't consume certain things, they are harmful for either your physical body or your mental well-being. Do not cheat one another, don't lie to one another, don't break promises. This is so that your life can, you can have trust, and you can rely on one another, and you can benefit one another. You're not harming one another. And then maintain good family ties and relationships, and you have responsibility with your family members. Again, that is because if Allah left it to the individual to decide how they live with their families. Our nature is that we are greedy, number one, and we are selfish. And so everybody would just demand their right, and this is what is happening in the world. This is why relationships are breaking outside in our society, because everybody is demanding their rights. I am a son, I want my right. I am a daughter, I want my right. I am a husband, I want my right. Everyone is demanding rights. No one is concerned with what are the rights of others. That demanding my right does not make our relationship better. If anything, it's going to destroy the relationship in one way or another. Not that demanding your rights is unreasonable. We're not saying it's unreasonable. Everybody is entitled to ask for the things they want in the relationship. But if I just keep demanding and not offering anything, then the person is going to come to a point, whoever that is, relative, family member, next of whatever, the person will come to a point where they're thinking to themselves, this is if they're genuine, that this relationship doesn't seem to work because you keep asking of me and I can't give anymore. So clearly I don't, we're not the right people for each other. Okay, thank you very much. See you later. In worst case scenario, it's like, I demand rights, and then the other party says, well, yeah, I would fulfill those rights. I acknowledge that you're entitled to those, but how about my rights? Did you forget about, you don't do this and you don't do that and you don't think of me and So the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very easy. Last week we said that there are different categories to the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have imaniyat, the matters of faith and belief. All of that is contained in the Quran and in the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it is summarized in booklets, 5-10 pages, and it further summarized to us that I believe in Allah, believe in His angels, believe in His prophets, believe in the scriptures, believe in the day of judgment, believe in the divine destiny. Okay, having some understanding of that and reminding ourselves of our belief so that it does not weaken. Because without belief, it is extremely difficult to act in accordance to the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then you have ibadat, which are the acts of worship. We are all worshipping Allah to a certain degree, right? Different levels, but we are all worshipping Allah. We are all praying. We are all, fasting the month of Ramadan. We give some sadaqat, we read some Quran, we do some dhikr, we make some dua. We are all worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is required for the worship is that we learn or relearn the proper way of doing the worship, and then trying to make it better, progress in our worship, in the sense that we want more devotion, more concentration, more sincerity, that when I do an act of worship, I know why I am doing it. It is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are the rewards that Allah has promised. When I'm staying away from something, it is again to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to protect myself from the anger of Allah azza wa jalla, and these are the rewards that Allah has promised. So belief, worship. Then we said dealings. We mentioned this last week, right? Yeah? No? Allahu Akbar. Dealings with one another. So worship is our relationship with Allah. Dealings is our relationship with people. Our dealings with people, should I say. How we contract our marriages, our loans, our business deals, our buying, selling, partnerships, employment, employing people, so on and so forth, services, all of that. This is what? Dealings. Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala command certain things? And actually all of the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are there to establish. Why did deen come? To establish what? Justice. To remove disbelief, to connect people with Allah. But in the dealings with one another, deen came to remove what? Injustice. To establish justice. Allah wants justice on earth. Why? Again, for the same reason we mentioned earlier, that if we did not have a clear code of conduct, or a clear judicial code, then what would happen? Every human being is greedy, and every human being is selfish. So we would eat one another. This is what we see in the world. Societies that are not living by the principles of the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether they are Muslim societies or non-Muslim societies. What is happening is that the wealthy and powerful are getting even more wealthy, even more powerful, and masakin, the poor, are getting poorer. And this is across the world, even in London, right? It's done on different scales, right? You have different types of criminals, right? You've got those who are more because there is nobody challenging them, there is no law that is to challenge them, there is no system that is to challenge them, and so they're a bit more open about the injustice, and they do not care of consequences. And then you have places such as where we are living, known as the so-called developed countries, where there's still great injustice. We all know it, everybody knows it, but it's just masked in a nice way, it's covered in a nice way, it is not in your face, but it's still, there's still no trust in the leadership. There's no honesty in leadership. So why are they lying? Why are they deceiving? Because they are greedy and selfish. They are looking after their interests, not the interests of the people they are responsible for. Actually, they don't see themselves responsible for anyone. They see that they are ruling people. And so Allah wants justice. He said, I will not leave it up to you, up to your good nature to decide and to deal with one another appropriately. Which is now the fallacy that is going around. There's no need for religion. We just need to be decent with one another. That's good enough. Just be a good human being. Yeah? We hear that time and time again. And we hear it now from our children who are leaving Islam, giving in or buying this. I am on the minbar, so I don't want to say very rude words. But a complete fallacy. Madness. There's no need for religion. I'm just trying to be a good human being. Who is going to determine what a good human being is? Who determines that? Who says what is good and what is evil? When you have a child, do you say, oh, I'm not going to tell the child what is harmful for them or what is beneficial for them. Let them just figure it out. My responsibility was done. I brought the child into this world. Let them figure it out. What is good for them, what is bad for them. And they are going to figure it out. But how much are they going to lose in the process? What are going to be the consequences? Eventually they will realize that fire burns. But until then, fire seems very, it's attractive. It looks good. Let me go and put my hand in it. Because my father decided that, we don't need no education or anything. We just let them figure it out themselves. So Allah did not send us into this world without clear guidance. And guidance is what? That process which will lead you to whatever is beneficial for you. Hidayah. When Allah speaks of Hidayah in the Quran, I don't know what we have in our minds about Hidayah. What is Hidayah? Hidayah is Allah wants that for you which is beneficial for you. And He takes you there. This is Hidayah. Right? What is beneficial for you in this world and in the hereafter. So Allah guided animals to that which is beneficial for them. So that they can live and all of their needs are fulfilled. So this is what mu'amalat, dealings with one another. And then mu'asharat. Mu'asharat is our relationships. Our relationships. Your relationship with other people. You're going to deal with other people, but you're also going to have relationships. We're not just mere, with humans living individually without emotions, which is what the current world wants us to become. Right? No, we have relationships. And so we have dealings, which is buying and selling. You don't have to have a relationship with somebody to go to their store and buy from them. Or, you don't have to have a relationship with somebody to lend them some money. And then you have your relationship is what? Your blood relations, your neighbors, your community, the people of your masjid, your in-laws. These are relationships. Allah Azza wa Jal, again, He did what? He revealed guidance in relation to that, so that our relationships can be what? They can be fruitful, can be enjoyable. You will find peace, mercy, harmony, support for one another. Family is supposed to be what? A unit that is supportive of every individual in that unit, is supportive of one another. And that's what we had when we're applying the principles of Islam. Today, family units, your family is the one that is going to cause you the most hurt. If you're cheated by your family. Why does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? He says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَأْكُلُونَ أَمْوَالَ الْيَتَامَى ظُلْمًا إِنَّمَا يَأْكُلُونَ فِي بُطُونِهِمْ نَارًا وَسَيَصْلَوْنَ سَعِيرًا. You will be cheated by paternal uncle. If your father died and he left wealth, and you were too young to realize, then he would take everything. Right now they're taking everything even when you are a grown man. They're not even waiting for you to die, they're taking it before you die. Somebody said to me, I built a house in Morocco, I went there, somebody else is living. And the child said to me, what brings you to our house? This is a close friend. Your own family. So just the love and affection and emotion is not enough. Why? Because dunya has a way of separating people. Look, you have two brothers, siblings. They're raised the same parents, same food, same education, same home, and they play together. They have so much history. They play together. They supported one another when they were young, and if there was a fight, the older brother would jump in and help the younger one, and he'd take him to school and care for him. And if mom and dad needed to go somewhere, then they would be looked after by the older sibling, feed them, clothe them, make sure everything is okay. All of that history. And then they become adults and they start earning. What happens? They start to compete. It's only competition, it's okay. It's healthy competition, we say. Right? We have ways of fooling ourselves. This is a healthy competition, it's okay. It's just, so that you have something to look up to. You're creating targets for yourself. Healthy competition. So we start to compete with one another. He's got this much income, I need to have this much income. Well, he's got a car, well, I need a car. Well, he's brought his property. And then if you are, God forbid, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts you in a relationship where, the family is competitive and your spouse is adding salt in the, your brother, did you see your brother, what he did, where he's gotten? Ajib. Everyone is competing with one. Now that is slowly turning into what? Hatred, animosity. Because competing in dunya results in hatred and animosity. Competing in akhirah results in love and affection. Nobody hates one another when they are going to Allah, when they're competing for akhirah. Nobody says, oh, I wish I'm going to the masjid and everybody didn't come for fajr, only I did. Nobody thinks that. Yeah? Nobody's waking up for tahajjud and thinking, Ya Allah, I want to be the only one in North Finchley praying tahajjud at 3 o'clock in the morning. I wish nobody else is doing it. No. The one wanting Allah, wanting akhirah is doing it himself and wanting. Why? Because the treasures of Allah are limitless. What I can get, everybody else can get, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loses nothing. So let us all work together. And so the competition does not result in any ill feeling. But in dunya is limited. There's only so much. So everybody's working. So what happens is that our relationships become hell. Our family relationships become what? Hell. And we know that there is no one in the world, out of all people, that can hurt you more than your own family members. And the closest, your spouse, husband or wife, your parents, your children, your siblings. These are the people that are going to, you can have everything in the world, but if your relationship with these people is not good, you are going to be in misery, because they are deep inside your heart. So they're going to cause you pain that your neighbor and your colleague and your business partner and so on and so forth will not even be able to, they cannot cause you that same pain. So your life is, so Allah Azza wa Jal wants to protect us from that. So He says, these are the rights of the husband, these are the rights of the wife, these are the rights of the children, these are the rights of the parents, these are the rights of your siblings, these are, extended family, this is how things are maintained, this is how you divide your inheritance, right? This is how parents give gifts and grant gifts to their children. I have 2 children. With one I am, mashallah, giving them everything that they desire, and the other one is like, oh, no. So what is happening? What am I doing? I am creating hatred between them and hatred towards me. So how can I expect that when I get older that child is going to come and look after me and care for me? So Allah Azza wa Jal, the commandments of Allah are for our own benefit, for us. We seem to think, our view of deen is this, that there is a really nice way of living life, enjoyable, where you just have fun and you enjoy and you fulfill all of your desires and your pleasures, and nothing wrong happens. You live life, everybody else is living like that, and then you die. This is one way of living life. And then the other way of living life is that you deprive yourself and you live miserable and you are so sad and and so restricted, and it's too difficult, and then eventually you go to paradise. That's what we have understood deen to be. That some are having a ball in life and others are living misery. That's what Allah wants. And so, and then He's going to decide, oh, these guys, they lived misery, let me give them paradise, because they were miserable in the world. It doesn't work that way. Whatever Allah has revealed, it is for us to have a good life here, in this world, before the next. Allah is merciful towards His creation. Ra'ufun bi'ibadih. He loves His creation 70 times more than the mother loves her children, her child, her nursing child. Is time up? More time. So what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants for us is to live a good life here and also to live a good life in akhirah. So it's a win-win situation. What is difficult is that we have our nafs has become accustomed to its greed and its selfishness and fulfilling of its pleasures and desires. So to commit to the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is difficult. You have a child that has become used to eating sweets all the time, and then all of a sudden the parent realized that actually this is detrimental to my child's life. The GP is saying, they're bordering diabetes, and you need to put a stop to that. And then you tell the child, look, my child, this is not good for you. You're going to have health problems. You're going to suffer. You won't be able to enjoy life. He says, what? I'm enjoying life already. I say, yeah, but 5 years from now, you won't be able to eat anything you want. You won't be able to do, physical exercise. You won't be able to go places because you'll be too sick. I say, no. I just want to have my sweets. Okay? But the parent in their right mind, the parent that has mercy for that child does what? They stop them by force if they have to. Right? Because the child is not understanding that immediate pleasure is actually going to cause harm for a very long time. So وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى. Our nafs doesn't want to. And what does the child say? That's not fair, you're so horrible. When so-and-so, Sulaiman's father is not like you, and he gets to do what he wants, and so on and so forth. Does the father give in? No. Say what you want. I know the consequences of what you are doing, and I know the benefits of what I am asking you to do. So وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى. The nafs doesn't want to. This is where the struggle is. Whereas the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings nothing but peace, tranquility, harmony between us and Allah and between us and people. And live a pleasurable life in this world and in the hereafter. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us understanding and to enable us to commit to the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, relationship with people. Two important announcements. The first one, our brother Rizaul Haqq, inshallah, who passed away on Sunday, his janazah is going to be tomorrow, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, after Salatul Dhuhr. So he passed away on Tuesday, apologies, on Tuesday, and his janazah will be tomorrow after Dhuhr Salah. Those who would like to come and view him, you know, the people who know him and haven't seen him for a while, they can view the face before Salatul Dhuhr. So immediately after Dhuhr, it's, you know, janazah, and then we proceed for burial. Also, request of dua for brother Rafiq, who passed away in Pakistan. The sister of brother Rafiq, okay, sister Fazana, who passed away in Pakistan. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for her and for all the deceased of our ummah and all the believers to grant them mercy, forgiveness, and grant them paradise and protect them from his punishment. We ask all brothers, inshallah, now, just before adhan is made, everybody please stand up, fill in the gaps, the rows, inshallah, so that we can have, you know, a full